Welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl Mazza, the healing dancer, your host. This is a love-centered space honoring the enduring legacy and spirit of Michael Jackson and the powerful ways his message continues to live through us today. Through personal stories, meaningful reflections, and heartfelt conversations, we explore the moments he struck us in the heart and how that love still moves through us and the world today. So take a breath and let's begin today's episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm Cheryl Mazza, the healing dancer, your host. And today we have Pamela S. Thibodeaux from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Pamela S. Thibodeaux is an award-winning author, life coach, and spiritual mentor. Her tagline, "Inspirational with an Edge," defines her life, writing, and coaching style. So I'm so excited to have Pam here with us today. Welcome to the It's All for Love podcast. I'm excited to talk to you about Michael.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I am too. I really love Michael Jackson and his work, and so it's always exciting to talk about something you love.
Yes, yes, I agree because it's all for love.
Right?
Yes. Well, tell me, what is your Michael Jackson story? When did you first discover him, or when did he first discover you?
Oh my goodness. I'm from the old school where Michael Jackson, the Jackson Five actually, and the Osmond brothers were the big boy bands when I was growing up. And I just loved their music, all of them.
Mhm.
And so to say when he found, I mean, I don't know, I was maybe a teen or a preteen. So that's been quite a few years ago. And I've always loved his music. It's always so upbeat. I used to work as a cocktail waitress and they would play like Thriller, especially during Halloween. They'd play Thriller and all that Thriller album. And I just loved it because, I mean, what better way to work than have some good music to work with, work through.
Right?
And so I've always just been a fan. He was an excellent dancer, beautiful dancer. And um, one of the things that really struck me was his song, "The Man in the Mirror." And then the "We Are the World" that he collaborated with so many, that was beautiful. But "The Man in the Mirror," as you know, in the spiritual growth and personal development, you always wonder, you don't not everybody understands that every change that you want with outside of you starts inside of you. So that song just resonates so much in what I do, is that you have to start with the man in the mirror.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that song. It's definitely
Hmm.
a reminder for all of us, yeah, that we have to look in the mirror at
Hmm.
ourselves. And if we want to change something about our lives, whether it's ourselves or something going on, that
Right,
starts with us and,
right,
how we feel, how we perceive things, all of that. So,
right.
yeah.
And in the if you've ever heard of Louise Hay, she
Hmm.
was a big proponent of mirror work. And
Yeah.
so every time I think of mirror work, it's like that song just comes back to my mind, whether I'm talking with a client or doing my own mirror work for whatever situation's going on in my life. It just comes back to me because it's so true. You have to start with the man in the mirror. The world is a reflection. Our outside world is a reflection of what's going on in our life. If our life is chaotic, then our circumstances are going to be chaotic. If
Right.
our life is calm and peaceful, our circumstances for the most part are going to be calm and peaceful. Now that doesn't mean you're never going to have a challenge. We
Mhm.
come here to this planet for contrast, so it doesn't mean you're not going to have a challenge. But if you always think about, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What do I have to learn? Who do I have to become to get to that next level of a spiritual being having a human experience? And
Mhm.
so I just love it. Every time I hear it, it makes me think, or anytime I think of mirror work or any kind of internal work, that song always resonates with me.
Yeah.
And so many people love it. So many people are like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about it like that. He was ahead of his time. He was telling us stuff that whenever it was popular, nobody was thinking about internal work. you
No, not
know?
one. Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
just really resonates all across the board.
Yeah. And I think every time I like from since I started doing this podcast, a lot of people have mentioned, that song and in different ways
Mhm.
help them, whether it be in their work or in their personal lives. So now every time I hear that song, it's kind of like I actually take a moment to like really listen
Mhm.
to it again, like it's like the first time hearing it, and it hits different every time depending on what I'm going
Mhm.
through in my life at that time.
Right.
And it's just like it's not the same, it's the same message, but it's not the same message every time, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Right. Well, it's just like reading a book. Like if you read a personal development or a self-help book and you read through it and you do the exercises and then you put it aside and you either go back and read your journal or you go back and you read the book 3 months later. Everything's even reading the Bible. How many times can you read a scripture and it's like, oh, that's so lovely. Yeah, that makes sense. And then 6 months ago, from now or 6 months later, you go back and you read again. You're like, oh, that's what God meant. That's what it means for my life. That's what it means for me in this moment. And so the same with the song. Every time you hear it, it's going to resonate with you differently based on what's going on in your life and where you're at in your own personal growth, and what is it? And that's where I love questions, 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 questions. What is it trying to tell me? How can I become better? I can't even think of all the questions right now. I'm just so used to working with people, and I work intuitively. So if I don't know what's going on, I can't help, you know, facilitate the proper questions. But you get what I mean. It's just question everything, question your limiting beliefs. And so every time you listen to the song, or make it a point to listen to it once a month or twice a month or once a week, and ask yourself, how can I be the change I want to see in the world? What do I have to do to be the change to see that I want to see in the world? Do I have to be more polite? Do I have to be more loving? Do I have to be more forgiving? Do I have to be less judgmental? What do I have to do, or what do I have to be the change I want to see? Because once you start having that internal change, you're going to see it reflected back to you from the people and circumstances around you. It's the law. It's the law of vibration, the law of attraction, all of the universal laws. It is what it is. And a
Yes.
lot of people don't realize it. We walk around, we may poor mouth our circumstances, poor mouth our situation, and we wonder why they don't change. Well, what are you saying? So being the man in the mirror and looking at yourself, you have to start with everything: thoughts, words, belief systems, on every level,
Hmm.
and be patient with yourself, you know, just like a child learning how to walk and talk. And, you know, you're patient with them. You don't fuss at them because they can't get up and run 3 days after they're born. Help them to grow. Well, we should treat ourselves that way too,
Right.
in the growth process. Don't beat yourself up or whatever, just
Yeah.
think about how much you've changed from a year ago. That's why I love journaling, because I can always go back and say, oh my goodness, that came true. That happened. Look how much I've grown since then. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that advice. I do, because it's so many times when we're like in the thick of something, where it's like
Mhm.
really hard to like even have like a positive thought about something to change
Right.
your thinking. Um, to be able to go back in something like a journal and go, okay, well, where was I even 6 months ago?
Hmm.
Be able to actually track like your progress because, it's up and down.
Right.
Life is
Right.
up and down. It's not always like, always on the incline once you figure out something.
Right.
Something happens and then knocks you back down.
Well,
But,
exactly.
but when you're in
Yeah.
it,
And,
you can't tell like you're like, oh, I'm just like I have made no progress, but really you have, you know.
right.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, I love Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about particles and waves. In the quantum field, it's all waves.
Hmm.
So life is going to be, like you said, it's a wave. It's good to ride that wave, and we're all going to have our human experience. We're all going to have our emotions. We're all going to have our meltdowns. um, but it's how long? How long do you want to stay mad at the world? How long do you want to stay mad at your spouse? How long do you want to stay, upset with your circumstances? Because they're not going to change if you're mad and upset, you know? So that's where doing that internal work and that self-examination, and not with guilt or condemnation at all, but with love and compassion. Okay, how can I learn? What can I learn? Who can I study? Who can I listen to? Like this podcast is amazing for people to just get different, you know, perspectives on what the song means to them, or what Michael Jackson's work meant to them, or it's all for love. What does love mean to you? You
Right.
know, is it a fleeting thing that you feel for another person, or is it something that's deep and abiding within your soul? Well, we all come from love. So to me, it's something deep and abiding in your soul. But everybody has a different perspective. So anything that you can do or listen to, or write or read to develop that love, to
Mm.
be more loving, you know, it can't hurt you.
Right. Yeah. And I think, and that's why, like for me, this is why I love Michael Jackson so much because he, to me, my opinion is that he embodied that love and that's
Mhm.
what he shared with all of us, like all of his
Right.
fans, like that's something that I learned from God or from God too. That was not, a coincidence that that slipped out. But
Right.
Michael, to me, like he is love, he always was able to come from the perspective of love in
Hmm.
the situation, even when he was being hurt, by the media or
Right.
someone in his life. He always, like, to me, was asking, like, what would love do? How would love respond in this?
Right.
And that taught me a great deal about how to really love people,
Hmm.
love love yourself and then
Right.
also just have more of like a softer and compassionate heart for people. Everybody's going through
Right.
something. And the ultimate thing that we all want is to be loved.
Right.
So,
Right. And you mentioned love yourself, and that's the whole thing. Ultimately that's what we want, is to be loved. But if you don't love yourself, you're not going to attract the kind of people into your life that's going to love you. People will love you the way that you love yourself. And I get, and I've been there, trust me, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, burned the t-shirt more than once. But but it's like when I my husband passed away and I became a single woman, I never wanted to be a single woman. From the time I could speak, I wanted to be married and have babies. That's all I wanted. That was my lifelong ambition from a little bitty girl. And so I was thrust out into this world that I was clueless. I mean, I never dated much. So here you are, 50, 48 years old, 49, 50 years old, learning all this stuff. And it took a lot for me to learn, hey, I am valuable.
mm,
I love myself. I love myself enough to not give in to what the world says that I should be and how I should behave. And I always laugh about, during that time, it's like, one of the things I used to kind of weed out the guys was, ladies don't kiss on the first date. Well, I didn't get a whole lot of second dates, but that's okay. I learned to love myself and respect and honor myself in ways that I had never done or even realized was a possibility, or something that we should do, much less could do, in
mhm.
all my growing up, all the years before being 48. So, life is a journey, but self-love, and I'm not talking about conceit, or self righteousness and all that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about loving yourself. Love your body. Your body's a living organism.
Mhm.
Everything you say to your body, your cells listen and obey. Okay. So if you're constantly bad mouthing yourself, what are you going to get? What's your body going to do? It's going to break down. It's going to respond in the way that you're talking to it. Just like a child. If you're talking down to a child, I've seen it. I've seen this thing on internet before. It says if you're talking down to the child, they don't start to hate you, they start to hate themselves,
Mm.
you know? So you think about your body that way, just like it's a child, and you want to love it and respect it and honor it. And everybody's got their own idea of what that means. And I'm not sitting here to place restrictions or judgments on anybody. But once you really start feeling that love for yourself, that expresses outward, and you bring into your life people that feel the same way. They will respect you, they will love you, they will honor you. And not everybody's going to be a soulmate, or not everybody's going to be a partner, but you will have better relationships all the way around. And not only with self-love, if you take that on the other hand, and there's someone in your life that you're having an issue with, if you would sit down every day and write, I love and appreciate this about that person, whoever it is. I love and appreciate this about that person, and do it, even if it's just one item, and you start with that, eventually other items are going to come to mind. And then within 30 days, there should be a major change in that situation. And whether it changes for good or bad, it's going to change for the better for everyone involved. Love is, it's not just a fleeting emotion. I mean, yeah, we have those. That's attraction. Love is something deep and abiding in the heart and in the soul. And you can have that love for yourself, for your family, your friends, strangers. You know,
Mhm.
we tend to compartmentalize it, and that's not how, I don't believe that's how we were created to be. Is, I'm going to love you, but I'm not going to love him. And I'm going to love her, but I'm not going to love them. I don't think that's how we're created. I think we come from love. We're created in the likeness and the image of God, who is love.
Right.
And we should just, strive to be loving in all situations. And a true love, a true compassion, a true, you know, something that you feel in your cells and in your body.
Yes.
And it makes a difference. It makes a difference in your health, mental health, physical health, health in your relationships, and everything else. And, I know there's been times in my life that I was not loving, that I was very, judgmental, critical, negative, and it's a journey. But hopefully we'll all get on that trajectory and just go rise higher in our ability and our capability and willingness to love others.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love all that. And
Mhm.
you mentioned, like, there were times when you were like judgmental, not so loving. And I think that that is like, once we start to love ourselves more, we're going to have those moments still too, right? Where we're
Mhm.
fall back into like being judgmental and not as loving as we would like to be. But that's also like a learning opportunity.
Right.
Probably as someone who's working on self-love, learning to love themselves can recognize that, like, oh, I just judged that person, based off of
Right.
things from the past or whatever.
Right.
Let me, cancel, clear, delete that thought that I just had or that judgment I just did, and look at it at a different perspective,
Right. And one of the things that I found so beneficial is to the Ho'oponopono prayer
Oh yeah.
is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And if it's somebody that's really hurt you, or there's a situation, you could always add, I forgive you and I release you to God, you
Mm,
know.
yes.
And it just, by saying the words, and if you know you've hurt somebody and you didn't mean to, you don't necessarily have to go to them and say it, because we're all connected, so they're going to feel it. They may not know where they're feeling it from, but the next time you meet up with that person, they may not remember, because you've cleared all of that out
Mhm.
using those words, that prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And again, I forgive you and I release you to God, if it's a mutual disagreement or whatever. It works miracles. I mean,
Oh God.
forgiveness comes from love, and
Yeah.
but forgiveness is not necessarily something that is strictly because you love someone. If you practice forgiveness in whatever way that works for you, your love will grow, your compassion will grow. If there's no love, compassion is a good second. If you can't drum up the love for somebody, at least allow the compassion to come through you. And then that will, in turn, will alchemize any of the other negative feelings and emotions and thought patterns or whatever.
Yes.
And it
How-
takes time. I mean, nobody's going to do it overnight, but
No.
it's just to constantly remind yourself, okay, I am love, I am loved, I am loving, I walk in love, you know. And just make that your mantra. Make that your mantra when you're walking. Make that your mantra while you're shopping. Make that your mantra. I am here to express love, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I absolutely love the Ho'oponopono prayer. Um, I've used it myself many times. Maybe I'm
Hmm.
in a disagreement with my husband, or someone that I'm close with.
Right?
I will go to bed and like just imagine the situation and do that Ho'oponopono prayer over and over again.
Hmm.
I can tell you how many times it's helped to diffuse the situation, make it better.
Right.
Um, I've even done it in my car. My car is almost 20 years old.
Hmm.
Driving it, I don't know, to Virginia or something, and it broke down, but then I had to make it from there to like the store to buy a part. I literally said the
Hmm.
Ho'oponopono prayer the whole way to my car, like, because I love you, car.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you've been here
Yeah.
this long. So it was like, and I feel like it helped. I know a
Oh,
car is not like a person, a human being, but it's that gratefulness that having,
hmm.
this material thing that has helped you get from point A to point B or wherever.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's all energy. At
Yes.
the core of every single living thing is energy. What does a car run on?
Right.
Gasoline and energy, spark plugs, that's energy.
Right.
So I believe it too. I believe when you really love and appreciate even inanimate things, you'll feel the difference. That people talk about crystals and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know a whole lot about crystals, but if you think about it, I always go back to the Bible at some point, but Jesus said, even the rocks will cry out. Well, what does that tell you? Rocks can be living things. They're made up of living molecules and living atoms. And they may be inanimate, they're not getting up walking around, but that's why people talk about tree huggers and they're all tree huggers. But let me tell you something. There's something to that. I mean, loving nature in whatever shape or form you're out in nature can bring so much to the soul, so much peace and calmness to the soul.
Yeah.
And um, I have a kind of a variation of Saint Francis prayer. Um, Saint Francis of Assisi, make me an instrument of your peace. And where there's the whole, I kind of shortened it. It's like, make me an instrument of your peace, a vessel of love, a fountain of wisdom, a channel of blessings, and a conduit for miracles. You
Wow.
know, and just even just saying that, I know you feel the energy from
Yeah.
just saying that out of, it's not about me, but let me be this for the world. Let me be this for the people in my life.
Mm.
And, I still get my feelings hurt and I still get aggravated, but I try to quickly correct that to where, okay, I had a human moment. I am human. I had a flesh moment. Let's get back into love. Let's get back into appreciation. Let's get back into compassion. So, like I was telling you the little situation earlier, it's like, well, she's young. She probably, didn't understand what her duties were. So I'm gonna let it go. I'll do what I have to do and just let it go. It's not worth my peace.
Send her love. Yeah.
Yep. Send her love.
And just to, bring Michael back into the conversation, I feel like, and to talk to like the people listening, watching,
Hmm.
everything that we just talked about, I can see Michael Jackson really relating to that way of
Hmm.
life. Um, that's how I see him, you
He
know.
was always so tender. Always thought
Yeah.
he was tender. He was a tender person. Forget man, or, he was a tender person. He was a tender being. He had a big heart. He
Mm.
had a heart for people. He had a heart for art. He had a heart for dance.
Mhm.
And I do. It's like I can feel him here in the midst of this conversation saying, yes, y'all
Yes.
got it. You
Yeah.
got it. You
Exactly what I
understand
was
what I
talking
was
about.
all about and while I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and tried to show through my art and through my gift. He gave his gift to the world.
Right. Yeah. And he was always so, we talked about nature and like being out and
Mm-hmm.
loving nature
Mm-hmm.
and how it brings you more peace. He was a big advocate for that too, like he
Right.
the tree at Neverland that he used to go sit in and create, like
Right.
he gave him energy, gave him love. Um,
Right.
so yeah, all
You know,
things.
I think there's a lot that people don't know about Michael Jackson, because all they see is what the media told us to see. But that's true in every situation. We don't know all the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We get what we're given. We
Right.
get somebody else's perspective on the circumstances or the people or whatever. And you can't believe every single thing word for word, because there's always another story. There's always another version. My mom used to say, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always another part to that. And so, be learning those things. And it's not just learning them. You can have all the head learning in the world. It's heart learning. It's implementing them. It's walking in that.
Mm-hmm.
Walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk. And you hear that all the time too. And I believe that Michael Jackson walked his walk. He walked his talk.
Yes,
He
definitely.
was very open and vulnerable and loving and generous and kind. He was all the things that love embodies.
Amen. Now, I know you use the man in the mirror in your coaching business. Does Michael ever show up in your life, like what I like to call Michael Jackson synchronicities, like how he just randomly shows up in your
Oh,
life?
sometimes, like coming across this podcast, or one of his songs will come on the radio, and um or just I'll just be reminded. I laugh and pick about having a jukebox in my mind. There's this country music song in the corner of my mind. There's a jukebox. Yeah, well, there's one in mine too. And you just never know. I could just all of a sudden that song's going to come. One of his songs will come in my head, and it just kind of reminds me that um, go to love. Just reminds you to just seek love, be love, share love.
Yeah.
You reap what you sow. So if you're sowing love in every circumstance that you can, not just in your particular family, friends, and inner circle, sow love in the world. Even if you can't go out and make a big difference, sit and meditate on love and just send love to the universe, send love to the people of earth, send love to the earth, you know, send love to the oceans and the critters in the ocean. Just be love in every way, shape, or form that you can think of. And there's been studies that show that one positive person or one person meditating on love has the balancing effect or tips the scale over like 10 or 12 negative people. It may even be more than that. The study it may have been thousands, or hundreds. But we don't realize how powerful we are when we sit in and meditate on love and then express that outward, allow it to come out, even if it's just in your thoughts, sending love to war-torn countries, sending love to people that that need help. You,
Mhm.
you can't do anything else. What does it hurt to send them love?
Right.
It doesn't deplete you of love, because it's just going to replenish itself over and over, multiply,
Mhm.
you know.
Yes. Yes.
So it does, and anytime something like that happens, it reminds me, go back to love. Go
Mm.
back to love.
I love that. Yeah. And sending out love is definitely something that I also try to focus on.
Yeah. Right.
If it's not daily, it's at least once a week, where I remember,
Right.
let me just sit for like 5 minutes, maybe,
Hmm.
and just concentrate on sending that frequency out to the world,
Right.
with the intention that it's going to where it needs to go. Uh,
Right.
I actually want to start a monthly thing called Heal the World.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
I'm a Reiki and energy healer. And so I wanted to do like a group session where everybody receives healing, but the main focus is sending that love to ourselves first and foremost, but then
Hmm.
expanding it out into the world, the earth, all the people
Hmm.
in the world, wherever
Right.
it's needed. Because in my opinion, the world is a crazy place now, and it can use more love. That's
Of
the
course.
that's the
Of
answer.
course, love is the answer to
Yeah.
everything. I mentioned Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love his work,
Mhm.
and he has a walk for the world
Yes.
that he does occasionally, and it's a walking video, and you focus on sending love to the world. There was one, and I'm sure it's on his website. I haven't kind of disappeared off of YouTube, unless I just deleted it and don't remember. But it was loving. He's got one that's called Go Love, where you think of someone you love and you put their heart in your heart so they'll feel the love. But he had one that was, that you put the earth, you put the earth in your heart, and you put all the people in your heart. And I wish I could find it again if I find it. But I would do those, like I said, it was on YouTube, so it may be on his website or something, or it may have just got deleted out of my playlist for some reason or another. But it's just beautiful. And these are like 15-minute videos. So he's got one that's called Self-Love for Women. And he talks about loving yourself and nurturing yourself. And I recommend that a lot of times too, because it starts here. Yes. It all starts in here. And all of us have wounds in our heart that need to be healed. And the best way is just to love that part of yourself that went through that. Yeah. And let it go. Because you can't hold on. You can't have a loving thought and a negative thought at the same time. Right. You can't have a judgmental thought and a loving thought at the same time. So when the thought comes in, thank it. Thank you for reminding me that I am love. And flip that switch, flip the script and just return to love. That makes me think of Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love. And it's, she teaches on A Course in Miracles, but the whole book is about how we can return to the love that is inherent within all of us, because we come from God, and God is love. Yes, yes. The loving intelligence that creates the universe, Yes. And all the universes along with it, or whatever, whatever you want to believe. Yeah. But it's a never ending well. That well will never run dry. The well of love will never run dry, but you got to pump it out. You've got to express it. You've got to get it out. You've got to, share it. Yes. Because if you just hold it all for yourself, it's going to dry up. It's like anything else. It has to be circulated. Yes. Oh my gosh. So many good nuggets of wisdom you're sharing with us. I love it so much. I'm going to have to go back and listen and I write down some things. Yeah, me too. Me too. Whenever you send it to me, I'll have to do that too. Because, I like to work on the fly and just kind of be in the flow. So half the time I may not remember this tomorrow or later, right? It's just when you work intuitively, you're constantly channeling, right? So it's like everything comes out of your mouth and you're like, oh, I hope I remember that. But it'll come back. It'll always come back when you need it. It'll always come back when you need it. Yes, yes. Wisdom. Well, do you have a favorite Michael Jackson song besides Man in the Mirror? Oh, I love Thriller. I love Beat It. Billy. I have that album. Yeah. It was so funny because when my children were little, one of the times when I was actually got to be a stay-home mom, I would put them down for their morning nap and I would exercise to that tape. The Thriller tape with the Beat It. I don't know if it's all the Thriller tape or which one it was, but it had Beat It and Billie Jean and all those upbeat songs, and it had some beautiful ballads too. But I can't pick just one. Man in the Mirror is one, but I think We Are the World would be, because I think he had a lot to do with setting that up. Oh, definitely. Putting that all together. And I think that would be my favorite, though it's not just his. Yeah, those two run a close second. All right. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm in a funky mood, then I want Thriller and Billie Jean and all the upbeat. Yeah. Right. Do you have a favorite short film that he did or music video? Music video, Thriller. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why? I don't know, because I'm not into zombies and stuff. I think a lot of it is because it was so funny. It was so cute. But since then, like my granddaughter, she's 21 now, but when she was about 8 or 9, they had a dance competition and they danced to Thriller, and I was like, isn't she the prettiest little zombie you've ever seen? Oh. but yeah, I just I don't really remember a lot of his videos because I didn't have like MTV and all that back then, but I listened to the radio more than anything else. And I always had my own visuals, you know. I
Hmm.
mean, I would see them on occasion, but I
Hmm.
always had my own visuals of who was in it or, you know, what it meant to me. So anytime you can immerse yourself in a song or an artist's work, um, then I feel like you connect hearts with them. You really connect with them on a spiritual and an energetic level. So anytime you can really immerse yourself in a good song, whether it's a country song, a Christian song, a rock song, a pop song, you know, whatever. I'm not big on rap or heavy metal. I want to hear words. I'm a word person. And my partner, we go out dancing and stuff, and he says, "Oh, there's words to that song," because he's all into the music.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I'm a word person, so we laugh about that a lot. It's like I didn't realize what that song said. Well, listen to the words. What words? You
Oh,
know.
funny.
But yeah, and you know, speaking of songs, I you know the song "The Rose."
Hmm.
Some
Yeah.
say love is like I was sitting. This was early in my faith walk, and after I recommitted my life to God, and I'm sitting here listening to the radio, and it was a country station, and Conway Twitty was singing that song, and I wrote a whole devotional based on the lyrics of that song.
Wow.
You never know what's going to come through you when you allow yourself to just be open, be loving, be open, and
Mm.
just let spirit, God, spirit, Holy Spirit just move in you and through you and see how you can use that to help the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, having that devotional out there, that's people get a chance to connect with that song in a different way, but connect with God in a different way.
Wow. Now I need to go back and listen to that song. It just brought up like a memory for me because when I was younger, I don't remember how young. I don't think I was in high school yet, but I used to sing when I was in middle school and in high school,
Mhm.
choir. And I remember, I think it was elementary school that song was part of choir, and I would like sing it all the time at home.
Mhm.
Like I used to know all of the lyrics to it. I might,
Mhm.
if I still listen to it, I might, but I just remember singing it over and over again.
Mhm.
And I think at the time, obviously, I didn't really get the words.
Right, right.
So I feel like that this is like, I need to go listen to it. It's going to mean something now.
Right. And it's amazing how, again, just like scripture or any other book, how when you listen to it years later, you really, oh my goodness, it really might touch you in a way that you never thought possible. Like that's what that means, or that's what how I can use that to for this situation or that situation. Because God speaks to us all the time.
Mm,
Spirit, my terminology is God. A lot of people think spirit, Holy Spirit, Jesus, whatever is always speaking to us. Nature speaks to us. Birds sing, wind whispers through the leaves, leaves rustle. Nature speaks to us. You
mhm.
know, God is always speaking to us. And we have to be open to the point that it's not always going to be through scripture. It's not always going to be in a church. It's not always going to be, we tend to be more open when we're involved in those things or, you know, Sunday school or whatever. But God's not just in the Sunday school box. God is everywhere and everything. And he's always speaking to us. We just got to quiet that chatter in our mind to hear it. Because
Yeah.
you'll know it. You'll know if it's coming from God or from the flesh or the ego or whatever, is because it's going to be soft and it's going to be loving or kind or compassionate. It's not going to be judgmental. That's not of God. It's not going to be harsh. It's not going to be, you know, negative. So when you if you get a thought in your head like, where did that come from? Well, you know where it came from. It's either coming from fear or in the flesh or it's coming from God.
Mm.
But recognizing it, start recognizing and thanking, recognizing and thanking. Thank you for speaking to me. Thank you that I hear you. Thank you that I can use that in this situation. Thank you for the guidance or whatever it tends to be
Yeah.
in that moment for you. And it's just life is just a miracle. It's a miracle and a blessing. And you know, you're talking to someone that has been through some stuff like everybody else. There's stuff that I haven't been through that others have been through, but there's things that I've been through that others haven't. And it's like it doesn't matter. You know, it's letting it go. It's not that it's never there, and I couldn't call up on those memories if I needed to. I was talking to somebody one day. I said, if I really sat down and told you everything I have been through in my life, you wouldn't even believe it.
Mm,
Some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I've been through, some of the things I tolerated, you know, you wouldn't believe it.
mm,
But we all have those stories. I just choose not to dwell on them. It's
yeah.
over, it's done. I did the best I could with who I was at that time, and I'm not that person anymore. And that's what it's all about. That's what life is. It's a journey, and it's about growing and evolving and becoming the best human being that you can be, understanding that it's because you are a spiritual being that you can be a decent human being.
Yes.
Because if we weren't spiritual beings, you know, then we would all be just animals. And they have spirits too, but I mean, we would be the baser animals, you know, the
Mm.
dinosaurs and the zombies, the thriller zombies, since we
Yes.
just got through with Halloween.
At least we'll be dancing.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and blog.
Well, I used to think about writing a book called Learning with the Leaders. I've been on a spiritual quest most of my adult life.
Mm.
And so I thought, man, that might be too many books or too many volumes or just, you know, anyway. So I decided to start a blog, and it's called Rainbows, Potholes, and Nuggets of Gold, gleaned along life's journey. So when you go there, it's all spiritual lessons that I've learned either from the movie Frozen or um, a book I read, mostly books. I've just opened my blog up for guests to post, you know, to help me keep it going
Mm.
because I'm so busy. I don't focus on that as much as being able to post all the time. And so, it started with that, rainbows. And then I recently, as a coach, you know, you're constantly trying to find clients and you're constantly trying to do this or you're trying to do classes here or classes there. I'm like, you know what? I just want to make YouTube videos. I just want to make videos and share all this with the world as much as I can. And so I have a coaching in PJs, and it's brand new. There's only one video up there yet, a little introductory video. And it's just going to be sharing like these nuggets of wisdom and life lessons that when you implement them, they can improve your life. And most of them are just common sense. And somebody may say, well, that's just plain common sense. Yes, but do you implement that common sense?
Hmm.
You know, we may know it's common sense, but we still do the opposite. You know, so and eventually I want to start interviewing, you know, other coaches and stuff on that channel to share those little wisdom nuggets and life tips, tricks, and hacks that help them or help their clients. You know, just one nugget of wisdom that you could share could change a person's life. So I'm excited about it. I'm ready to start working in it and doing some videos and um, see how it goes. Just for the fun of it, just for the experience of it.
Yeah, and that's
So,
all it needs to be, just to do it for fun, you know.
right.
I'll reach the people that it needs to reach.
That's right. I believe that. Just
Yes.
like this one, it's all for love. And then you're the healing dancer. I love that. My son is a choreographer and dance coach. And so and I mean, all of us love to dance. I love to dance. Now my dancing is a sawdust covered floor, you know. Um, but my granddaughter danced. My daughter danced in high school. My granddaughter danced for a studio up until the 10th grade, I guess.
Mhm.
When Hurricane Laura destroyed their house and she had no place to practice, she quit. But then she taught younger ones. And so now she's in college. She's a nursing student, and but she still loves to dance. We're all big dancers. So I love the healing dancer. I love just the concept of what that brings up in my mind,
Yeah.
you know, because
Well, that-
dance is very healing.
exactly.
It's movement, it's exercise, it shifts your energy, you know,
Yeah.
all those good things.
Yes. I grew up dancing, obviously. Michael
Mhm.
Jackson, actually, my story is he introduced me to dance.
Oh
I
wow.
saw him
Yeah.
dancing on TV and I was like, I want to do that. It was probably the moonwalk, you know, I saw. Um, not that I can dance like Michael Jackson because I can't. The only dance I know is Thriller. Um, but But yeah, I danced my whole life. I even went to college. My degree is in dance.
Hmm. Oh,
Um,
wow.
but really, like what dance was and still is for me is my therapy, is my healing.
Hmm.
Like I always turn to dance because you get it all out. They
Hmm.
out is really like a thing. Like
Right.
you're upset, mad, whatever, like just dance it out. You get it out. It's
Right, because you can't
so much
stay
better.
mad when you, yeah, you can't stay mad when your feet are moving and
Right.
you're moving to the beat, It just because it produces all those feel good hormones in the brain. It
Yeah.
releases them. And that is a great way. And it's good exercise. I mean, it's good for the soul.
Yep.
So yeah, I like that.
Thank you. So what do you want the world to know about Michael Jackson?
If you've never heard of Michael Jackson, you are missing out. Go listen to some stuff. Just listen to his music. Let it move you,
Mm,
not just your feet and the rhythm, but let it move your heart. Let it move your heart, especially those like We Are the World, um, Man in the Mirror. And I know there's a lot of others that I'm not remembering, but those two are just, they're so beautiful and they're so needed in the world today.
yes.
So if you don't know who Michael Jackson is, please go find him and listen to him. And if you do know, go back, relive those days of your childhood or your youth, or when all you cared about was listening to good music and dancing and having fun, when you didn't have all the stress and worries of the world. And be that person for a little while, be that child again, because it'll make the whole rest of your day or week or whatever shift. It shifts your energy, it shifts your mindset, it shifts what's going on in the body, and it's he's got some great music for doing that.
Yes. Yes. Hence why I listen to him every day.
Good for you.
Not
Good for
most.
you. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Pam, for being here and sharing all of your wonderful wisdom and beautifulness
Well,
with.
thank you for having me. I certainly appreciate it. And, I just wish you and all of your listeners a blessed day, and just be the love that you want to be that you want to see in the world. Just be it. Just be love. And it doesn't have to be difficult. It's not, the mind makes it complicated, but the heart makes it easy. So get into your heart and just be love in every circumstance that you can. And your life will change. You'll see miracles.
Yes. Thank you, Pam. And
Thank you so much.
just so you all know, I will have all of Pam's information in the show notes on social media, whatever, so you can get in contact with her if you would like.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to have this airing so that I can share your love with the world and your podcast with everybody that I know.
I
I look
appreciate
forward to it. Oh yes, definitely.
it. Thank you. Well, we'll see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for sharing this space with us. Every story, every reflection is a reminder that Michael's legacy is not just in his music, it's in the love that we choose to carry forward. Before we go, let's take one more breath together. Inhale and gently send love out into the world. If this episode touched you, I invite you to subscribe, share, or leave a review. It truly helps this message reach more hearts. And if you feel called to share your own Michael Jackson story, you'll find the link in the show notes to connect. Until next time, it's all for love.